RSS to complete 100 years in 2025. Do you believe that the RSS as an organization is to still be seen through the lens of a Hindu nationalist force that advocates a Hindu Rashtra, which its critics say is against the constitution of the country? And where do you see Golwalkar in this context?
Well, thank you, Rajdeep. Well, I think, if you were to look at something, an organization, a formidable organization, which is about to reach 100 years, you can approach it in two different ways. Now, one is to take a strand from the middle and then say that defines the whole thing. I mean, it's like suggesting that the Congress, as of today, should be defined by the Avadi resolution, which said a socialistic pattern of society. There's no doubt that Guruji Golwalkar was a very important person who created the RSS. His personal contribution was seminal. He also had a certain inspirational role, and if you meet any of the old-timers, they will all tell you how Guru Golwalkar knew everyone's name, their family things, and there was a certain personal touch about it. But the point is, he also had a certain perspective on India. Now that perspective is far more contentious, and it's not necessarily something which has continued over into the 21st century. A few years ago, I think three years ago, Mohan Bhagwat, who's the present Sarsanchalak of the RSS, gave a series of 3 lectures in Delhi's Vigyan Bhavan. What was interesting about those 3 lectures, that they mentioned the founder of the RSS, Dr. Hedgewar. They mentioned various other things. But throughout the 3 lectures, the name of Guruji Golwalkar was conspicuously absent. Now, these sort of things don't happen as a matter of coincidence.
No, so
there's a certain premeditation about this.
No, so is the RSS, is the BJP or indeed even the RSS trying to disown Guruji Golwalkar, who we were told in the 1990s was one of Prime Minister Modi's heroes? Is he just a minute. Is he disowning someone who was seen openly as an admirer of Adolf Hitler, who in his bunch of thoughts, controversial as it was, said that Muslims, Christians and communists are our 3 enemies who must be rooted out? Is the BJP of today disowning the RSS as Golwalkar saw it, his vision of Hindustan or a Hindu Rashtra?
Well, disowning is a journalistic expression.
You're a journalist.
I would say that the term would be that Guruji Golwalkar is a bit dated.
Is dated?
Yeah.
Interesting. Vikram Sampath, you want to step into that? Swapan Dasgupta suggesting that Guruji Golwalkar is dated. What does that mean? I mean, are we saying that someone who controlled the RSS for the longest time, for well over 3 decades?
So judge him from the perspective of the 1940s, 50s, 60s.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Rajdeep, and I think I agree with what Swapanda said, and I'm talking about this as an outsider who's not part of the RSS. I've not even attended a Shakha, and I don't know how things operate there. But as a scholar who's looking at Hindutva movements right from the time Savarkar coined the word Hindutva or popularized it, I think we in academic circles or in media circles, we conflate Hindutva and look at it as one monolithic entity. There is a very fundamental, to understand the RSS, and that's what is my understanding over the several years I've tried to research about the phenomenon, is that there's a huge difference between a Savarkarite version of Hindutva and the Hindutva that the RSS practices. In the Savarkarite version of the Hindu Mahasabha, and we conflate the two as being the same, it was a very person-centric movement. You needed a hero who needed to be adulated, hero worshipped, and the philosophies and the fortunes of the organization were tied up very closely to the rise and fall of that hero. So as Savarkar became unpopular following his, implication in Gandhi's murder, you had the Hindu Mahasabha's fortunes go down. But it is the opposite when it comes to the RSS, where yoking the philosophy to one individual or what he or she says is not important. The larger cause was important. And so it could be the Sar Sangchalak himself. You can say he was there for 33 years. But it's this flexibility which gives the RSS. Some can call it opportunism, some can call it adaptability. But it is flexibility, and the proof of the pudding is in the eating of it, that after 100 years, and after facing so many problems, so many bans, so much demonization, the RSS continues to thrive as probably the world's largest NGO, while the Hindu Mahasabha too dwindled away after Savarkar went away. So this fundamental importance, which gives them the flexibility to own, disown, what you can call appropriate different people and ideologies. So even Gandhi and some elements of Gandhi can be very easily adapted by the RSS, and he becomes one of their Pratah Smaraniyas. But that would be anathema to a Hindu Mahasabha Savarkarite, for whom, if Savarkar hated Gandhi, I as his follower cannot idolize Gandhi. So that is one important point. The other important point which I must emphasize to know the difference between these organizations is, even when constantly it is said, what did it do for the freedom movement and so on. So I think a very controversial answer to that is, yes, the Sangh's role in the freedom movement is perhaps zero, but virtually zero, but then the Swayam Sevak's role in the freedom movement was very significant. And why I say that is Dr. Hedgewar, when he came up with the idea in 1925, everyone was talking about how do we get freedom, when do we get freedom. But Dr. Hedgewar's idea was, why did we lose our independence in the first place? That was more fundamental for him. So tactical, short-term approaches of agitations, taking part in that was not important. Tactical planning versus strategic planning. So we lost freedom, according to him, because of a loss of national character. And so building that national character was so much more important than taking part in short-term, agitations. And so the philosophy of the Sangh has been that once we build this national character so much, we would like the Sangh itself to become redundant. The Sangh should fold up, because everyone has been aroused so much enough that there is no need for an organization which focuses on nation building. So I think these two fundamental bedrock of the RSS, and for us to understand, can they disown Golwalkar and still remain an RSS? They certainly can. Can they appropriate Gandhi and still remain RSS? They certainly can. Can they pick and choose a bit of everything and still remain? They certainly can. And that is what has made the RSS survive for 100 years and made it such a powerful and growing organization with so many offshoots, the Mazdoor Sangh, the ABVP, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, all of this. So unless we understand that and look at it through this, it's a hero worship organization, you can't question the leader, we won't understand, I think, why the RSS thrives.